Hey everybody, welcome to Amy's Blessings. I am here today to talk about a journal prompt that I just read. And it talked about unanswered prayer. And this gal was talking about how unanswered prayer can actually be a blessing. And the particular prayer that she was referring to was a prayer about her cousin who had a very aggressive form of leukemia, and she prayed and she prayed and she prayed for healing, and she had strong faith and she was believing for it. And she said her prayer was unanswered because her cousin David died. And of course that would be what I would read about in that today's open it up and just start reading thing. And first off, the first thought I was like, yeah, that's hard. But the second thing I thought was, it wasn't unanswered. Especially if he was a Christian, it wasn't unanswered because he was healed. He just didn't do it in the way that she wanted it to be, or how she wanted her prayer to be answered. And I would say, that is the part of the faith journey and the part of losing my daughter-in-law. And I could think of many people I've prayed for in the past where God just answered it differently than I had hoped and prayed for. I remember when Nicole was really sick. And with the social media that my son has, there were tens of thousands of people praying for her. And I remember telling the Lord, there's some people that have reached out to us and said, they haven't prayed in years, and now they're praying. And I was pretty upset with the Lord, and I said, God, so you're going to have all these people praying for Nicole, and you're gonna say no? You're gonna say no? You can't say no. You cannot say, no, I'm not going to heal her here on this earth, because you can't say no. He said no. And here we are. Here we are, 11 months later. And it's really not fun. But like going back to that journal that I had read when she said unanswered prayer, I right away was like, no, I don't feel that it was unanswered. Even though I was pretty mad at the time I was praying that original prayer. It's not unanswered. It just was the different answer. Because I picture her all the time praising Jesus in her golden, sparkling, I'm imagining it sparkling blonde hair, dancing, singing, praising with her beautiful, vivacious spirit. Only now it's for eternity. She's completely healed. There's no pain. There's no tears. There's no sorrow. And I think that's a pretty good answer. I think that's a pretty good answer to prayer. It's just that I haven't, and I know her parents, her siblings, my family, my husband, we haven't quite figured out exactly how to deal with all the pain of grief. You know? When you're struggling with your faith, your journey, you're trying to figure out what kind of, why are we still here? Why are the prayers answered in the way that we wouldn't have chosen? And we're just doing this grief thing in our own ways, our own individual process of it. And avoiding depression, anger, sadness, keeping busy, crying. Did I already say that? Maybe I already said that. And then it's not just that grief, it's other grief. It's grief of a friendship. It's grief of a companion. It's grief of expectations. When you expect something and then it's a grief of what you had hoped for. I would say also, I wrote down on a note a while back, we grieve what we have hoped for, what we have expected. And I mean, this is in all aspects. It's not just losing somebody. It's in life. It's in daily life. Grieve youth. My friend said to me, I think you're grieving youth. And I'm like, I think you're right. When I had my teeth redone because they were so worn and they were starting to, well, they were cracked and they were starting to chip. And I'm like, and I really still struggling with like, what's this? And she goes, I think you're grieving your youth. Huh, I suppose. Gee, you know? Anyway, grief comes in many forms, and I think everybody handles it in their own way. And there are times when I don't feel like talking to God, and I don't feel like getting in the Word. And I guess it's probably part of it too. It's part of the process too. But anyway, back to I want to encourage you to continue to pray for whatever it is you are praying for, and expect the miracle, because we saw many, many miracles through that whole process of praying for healing for Nicole. And thank you, Jesus, for that. They help us with, okay, the unanswered prayer. Just remember, he answers every prayer. He does. It just might not be the way we wanted it. And I think we all maybe have a little bit of a control freak thing. I mean, there are control freaks like me, we all have that, where we have this selfish thing. I want it the way I want it to go, and we want to be able to be in control of the outcome. And we are not. When it is April 18th and the air feels like it's 10 degrees out, I am not in control of that. I want to be, because I'm ready for spring, but we're not in control of that. So I have prayed for the Lord to change the forecast, and so far he hasn't said yes to that either. So anyway, just because it isn't the answer I want doesn't mean he didn't answer it. So I encourage you to just keep after it, work through it, admit that I'm grieving. It's okay. Tell people. I had a friend call and say, I wanted to get together for coffee. And I go, well, she goes, what are you doing? Grieving. She's like, what? Reading? What? Grieving. Admit that you're grieving. Having a bad day. Crying through it. It's okay. And you know what? Your prayers are getting answered. And a lot of times he says yes. He said yes to Nicole. He healed her. He's freed her. And he put Jesus on the cross. He had Jesus go to the cross. And that's a yes. That's a big yes. So hang in there. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I'm not editing. So I hope you hung in there till the end of this. Thanks. Have a good day. Have a blessed day. Bye.